Every other video right now. The economy's collapsing, AI bubbles popping, private equity's in freefall. So what am I supposed to do about it? Because here's the thing, a whole generation of investors have never actually been through a proper recession. 2008 was over 15 years ago. We've had the longest bull run in history, and now everyone's acting like the sky is about to fall. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But either way, freaking out on Reddit isn't a strategy. So this video isn't about predicting the crash. It's about being ready for whatever happens next. Because the people who do well in downturns aren't fortune tellers. They're just the ones who weren't scrambling when everyone else was. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. Right, I'm going to get the boring bit out of the way fast because you've heard it before. Emergency fund, 3 to 6 months, high interest savings account, there, done. If you don't have one, you know you need one. If you do have one, you're already ahead of most people. I'm not going to waste your time explaining compound interest or why you should cancel Disney+. You're not an idiot. What I will say is this, that buffer isn't just about money, it's about buying yourself the ability to not panic. Because when things go sideways, the people making desperate decisions are the ones who are one missed paycheck from disaster. They're the ones selling at the bottom, taking terrible jobs or getting locked into bad choices because they have no room to breathe. You're not building a safety net so you can sleep better. Though that's nice. You're building it so you can make rational decisions when everyone else is losing their heads. That's the actual point. Here's what happens in every single crash. The market drops, everyone panics and sells, the market eventually recovers, everyone who sold looks like an idiot. Every single time. And yet every time a recession comes around, we all collectively forget this and start acting like this time is different. It never is. So here's what I do. And what I'm going to keep doing if things go sideways. I keep putting money into a global index tracker, inside an ISA, every month, same amount, doesn't matter what the headlines say. Boring? Absolutely. But you know what's more boring? Being 50 years old and still working because you panic sold during a downturn and locked in your losses. The maths is simple. If you liked an index fund at £100, you should love it at 80. It's the same companies, the same future growth, just on sale. The only way you actually lose money is if you sell when it's down. And yeah, I know, watching your portfolio drop 20% feels awful. I get it. But that feeling is the entire game. The people who can sit through that discomfort and keep investing are the ones who come out the other side with actual wealth. Everyone looks like a genius in a bull market. The real test is whether you can stay boring when it's scary. Right, investing's great. But it doesn't pay your rent, your income does. And in a recession, that's the first thing that gets threatened. So while everyone's obsessing over their portfolio, the smarter move is making sure you're harder to replace. I learned this in a weird way. I was in tech support, which is about as replaceable as it gets. But I started automating stuff, little scripts to handle the boring, repetitive tasks. Not because I was ambitious, just because I was lazy and didn't want to do the same things 40 times a day. Turns out, that's exactly the kind of thing that gets you noticed. Those little experiments became the reason I moved into a better role. And that better role came with a better salary. And the better salary became the foundation for everything else I'm doing now. The lesson? Skills compound faster than money. And right now, the biggest opportunity is learning to work with AI instead of pretending it doesn't exist. Everyone's terrified AI is going to take their job. Maybe it will. But it's not going to take all jobs. It's going to take specific tasks. And the people who learn how to use it to do their work faster, better, and more creatively are going to be fine. They're not competing with AI, they're competing with the people who refuse to touch it. So if you've got time right now, learn something, anything. It doesn't have to be a full career pivot, just pick up a skill that makes you more useful, more flexible, or harder to replace. Data analysis, copywriting, video editing, prompt engineering. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Just pick something and get a bit uncomfortable for a bit. Because recessions don't just remove jobs, they create new ones. And the people who've been quietly learning and adapting are the ones who spot them first. Here's the thing about recessions no one really talks about. They create opportunities, real ones. Not get-rich-quick opportunities, I mean actual tangible shifts in the market that only happen when everyone else is frozen. House prices drop, small businesses look for partners, equipment goes on sale, projects that were too expensive during the boom suddenly become realistic. But here's the catch. You can only take advantage of those opportunities if you're in a position to move, and most people aren't. They've got no savings, they're over-leveraged, and they're too stressed about keeping their job to even think about anything else. And that's why all that boring prep work from earlier matters, not because it protects you, though it does, but because it gives you dry powder. You're not trying to time the market or predict the bottom, you're just making sure when something interesting crosses your path, you're one of the few people who can actually act on it. That's what positioning is. It's not about being clever, it's about being ready. Look, recessions happen. They're part of the deal. You can't control them, but you can control whether you're ready when they show up. The people who do well aren't the ones that saw it coming, they're ones who built a plan that worked either way. They kept investing when it was uncomfortable. They stayed adaptable and learnt new skills. They left themselves room to move when everyone else was stuck. And when things got messy, they didn't panic because they'd already done the boring work that meant they didn't have to. It's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it works. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead because you're thinking about this before you need to, and that's the entire point. If you want to see how this boring strategy holds up when things actually kick off, and let's be honest, it probably will at some point, hit subscribe and we'll figure it out together.